financial risk management. One of the new programs, or well, I won't say new, it's been there in the market for a while. But a lot of candidates have started asking us questions on whether this is the right qualification for them. Earlier, it was some students are confused whether it's good enough as a standalone course. Some are asking if it's the correct pre-qualification to a CFA, etc. etc. So in this video, we're going to talk about the details of FRM and whether it's the right course for you or not. So guys, before I start, if this is the first time you're visiting the channel, then please do click subscribe. We make a lot of videos where we talk about different finance and accounting qualifications to help you make a career decision. Alright, financial risk management. First of all, understand that this is on only financial risk. A more detailed finance course would be CFA and a more detailed risk program would be actuarial science. But if you think about it, financial risk, think of it as a subset or a mini CFA that is good enough to get you the launch in your career, or at least good enough to get you to the next phase of your career where you might do an MBA or probably even a CFA. Now, the FRM qualification, the body that conducts this exam is called the GARP, the Global Association of Risk Professionals. It's again based out of the US, but it is quite extensive now, specifically in India. Now, what's the eligibility criteria? So simply put, you can commence FRM as long as you've given grade 12. For a lot of you who are confused and not sure what to do, you are confused between FRM, CFA, MBA, then yes, you can start FRM immediately after grade 12, because for CFA and for MBA, the eligibility is a little later. So while a lot of people can start studying CFA in their first year after grade 12, you can even appear and complete FRM in the first year after grade 12. So if you're looking for a dual qualification, you can study FRM and level 1 of CFA simultaneously, or complete FRM at the earliest and then pick up CFA level 1. What's the academic structure of FRM? So as you can see on the screen, right, FRM is split into two parts. You have to appear for part 1 before you appear for part 2, because part 2 is only, you're even going to be graded on part 2 if you've cleared part 1. Part 1 has 4 competencies they mainly look for, and then part 2 has 6 competencies, which is an application of what you learned in part 1. When it comes to the duration, right, we've seen that FRM students can actually complete the entire, both part 1 and part 2 within a year. You can go a little faster, a little slower, but I think having a timeline for yourself, a target for yourself as completing FRM in 1 year is good enough. When it comes to the exam window, part 1 is held thrice a year in May, August and November, and part 2 is held twice a year, which is in May and November. When it comes to the paper pattern, right, the good part is FRM, both part 1 and part 2 are completely objective based. Part 1 has 100 MCQs, part 2 has 80 MCQs. And most importantly, all the exams of FRM are completely computer based. So you don't have to really go through the whole paper pen shenanigans anymore, especially for these professional qualifications. Alright, this takes care of the academic structure. Let me quickly move on to the scope of it. Now, FRM has a lot of opportunity, whether you look at India or overseas. It's a niche in the field of finance because it's financial risk. That being said, companies have started mandating financial risk managers within their company. So FRMs do have a lot of opportunity, even as a standalone program. As I'll discuss towards the end, if you do it along with a CFA and MBA, obviously your scope overall increases and FRM becomes the base for what you're going to hopefully pursue in the future. We've seen that FRM professionals do get somewhere between what a graduate and what a CFA gets, more or less, in terms of opportunity, in terms of salary packages, but in terms of companies, banks, financial institutions, all of these companies are hiring FRM students. Now, the main question is, what is the fee structure, or what is it going to cost you to pursue FRM? If I split the FRM fees into what we pay the GARP, which is supposed to be the exam fees, it includes your registration, exam fees, etc., etc. It's what you pay any professional body when you take up their qualification. That part of FRM ranges between 1.5 to 1.6 lakhs based on how early you register for the exam. And this will include, like I said, the exam fees of both the parts, the registration, and more or less anything that the body will charge. The training fee ranges again between 30 to 50,000 depending on where you get trained, how many levels you take together, etc., including study material. So the total investment for anybody to think about, to budget for FRM will come little less than 2 lakhs, which includes your training, all the fees that you would have to pay, these bodies, the study material, etc., etc. It's actually quite reasonable because whether you take again CFA, MBA, CA, ACCA, CPA, all of these have more or less slightly higher costs. And the return on investment as an FRM is going to definitely be more, because as an FRM, you'll definitely secure a job which is north of at least 5 lakhs in India, and That means you'll recover whatever you make up for within the first 6 months of your working life. So here's FRM for you. So I'm going to again split this into two parts. One is you've just given your grade 12, right? And you are right at the cusp of deciding what to do. Or you are somewhere in your working life and you realize that, oh, FRM is going to be important for your next stepping stone. If you're in college, if you're a student, you've just given grade 12, you're confused. Should I do only FRM? Should I combine it with a CFA later with an MBA? I would say stop thinking about all this. Focus on completing FRM at the earliest, right? If you've just given your grade 12, you have a year to do almost nothing else but complete FRM, and that should be your goal. Once you do that, you have a primary qualification with you, a professional qualification which you can show whether in India or overseas. That's your first step. Get some form of an opportunity, and then once you get that, your career is on its way somewhere up along with your college, along with WorkX. Then maybe you contemplate CFA, or even for that matter, pause for a couple of years and then think about MBA. The combination will always help. There's no denying that. So having FRM with these additional qualifications is always a go ahead, but don't jumble it up. Don't do too much at once or just study and have no work experience. Have a qualification, start working, and then take the next one. I think, guys, I've covered most of the things that anybody would want to know about FRM. So yeah, if there is any value that you found, then please give us a like. Comment in the section below if you've missed anything and what other videos you would like us to make.